Hey YouTube. Okay, so here's where we're at so far this morning. I marked the panel off as I want to get rid of it, and what I did was I cut the panel off, and I'll show you how I did that. These panels wrap around. They wrap around this inner panel. There's an inner panel there. They wrap around this panel and they're spot welded. Okay, so it's really hard to find these spot welds, and when they're in the back here like this, it's hard to get at them. So here's what I do. I took a grinder and I ground the metal that goes around the inner panel all along this edge, and I put a putty knife in there and just pry a little bit so it doesn't, hurt the inner panel. You don't want to bend that up too much. And I just grind along there until I get to the point where I'm done. And that releases this. Okay? So once that's released, then the piece that's underneath, you can turn the door over and you can grind on that and thin it out so that the rivets, or not the rivets, but the welds aren't so strong. And then you can pry that metal off. So as you can see, the door is actually in good shape there. There's nothing wrong with this metal here. Okay, so that's going to be good. Now what I did was I POR 15 that thing. It had rust along it, but I cleaned the rust off and I put POR 15 in there. I also put it underneath where these hinges are going to be put back on. Alright, so what I have now, here's the door panel. Now that I have the door panel there cut off, I can fit my new door panel on there. And you can see that that's how that's going to go. Now, the only thing is here is this is going to go on, right now this is going on top of where this is cut. Okay? Because I'm considering making a lip inside there. It'll strengthen the door, give me a better place to weld, and then I should be in good shape from that. Remember yesterday I had said only to bend this on like a 90, because what that does is it allows you to fit this in here. Now you can see that this is not bent the way it should be. This should be a flat here, so I have to pound that out a little bit. And because of putting the bends in the metal in the opposite direction, the 90-degree part, which is this part I'm talking about, you can see this edge is also up off the panel. That has to be flat on the panel. Okay? This is what I was talking about when I said a fish mouth here. This thing. Alright, that's what happens when you start to bend too much. Although, the only way to get rid of this is to have shrunk it, but I didn't shrink it quick enough. I just started getting the bend. So that's what that looks like at the moment. So as soon as I start working on this, I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Also, I POR 15 the inside of this, not along the edge that I'm going to spot weld. Okay, I didn't along that, and I did not along this, because it doesn't, welding through POR 15 doesn't work very well unless you have a hole not only in this but also in the part that you're going to weld to, and I don't want to put holes in that because that'll attract moisture. So that's what that panel looks like at the moment. All I got to do is flatten it out a little bit on the edges, do a little fine tuning to it, and I'll go from there. One of the things that I wanted to say to you is also about bending metal. Think about this. If you have a flat sheet of metal, okay, you have a flat sheet, and you're bending one edge, and you find this starting to get wavy, obviously if you didn't bend this, and you're bending that down here, this caused that to bend. So it's real easy for somebody to want to take and all of a sudden start beating on this to get it back into shape. That's where your problems start. You're not going to get it back into shape by beating on this. You have to work on the part that you did something to. Okay, so in other words, there's a cause and effect. Doing this here caused the effect that I got a little bit of wave up in here originally. Now it's not wavy, but originally. If you go and try and beat the wave out of this, or bend the wave out of the upper part, you're causing in the middle here stress between that and this, because this bend is going to be stronger than what you have up here. And that's actually going to make this even more warped. So, you know, remember that once you start to bend metal, wherever you're bending it, okay, down in here, that is where you'll fix it as well. So you have to actually do it to understand everything I'm saying, but you'll find out that once you start working on it, it's not that bad. And you can do all of this with a hammer and an anvil of some sort. Okay? Alright guys, so that's it for today. I'll get back to you when I get more done. Alright, bye.